Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Last week, I had made an appointment to get my iPhone. I had been talking about this for a while, in need of an upgrade of my phone. I had gone through the process on the app with, getting the specs that I'd like, the phone that I like. I ended up going with the 17 Pro Max in the color silver with basic storage being 256 with my carrier. Going to do a trade-in. I had tried doing that last Monday, and I wanted to do an in-person pickup at the Apple Store. That's what I was aiming to do. I was trying to get that done. I had tried, like I said, last Monday, and all sold out. So I'm like, I looked at the options, for to mail it to me, and it said it wouldn't be here until like November 5th. And I was like, wow, that's a while. It's a ways away. I wonder if they're so back ordered that I wouldn't even have a chance to go to get it in person, because I've been hearing that they're all back ordered pretty much everywhere. So I was like, well, I might just have to wait like another month or so before I even like attempt to order it. And last Friday, I was actually at work, and I decided, you know what, let me just I was on my lunch, and I decided to check on the Apple Store and kind of go through the process again and seeing if I'm able to, pick it up perhaps later that day. Just because, being like, is it really, does the Apple App Store, Apple Store app actually update in real time with like the Apple Store near me's inventory of iPhones? So I went back to it again. I did the thing where I chose the phone I wanted, the storage, the color, yada, 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 my carrier. Went all the way down to, and it said available for pickup at your nearby Apple Store. And I was like, oh, shoot. Well, I'm just going to schedule this little pickup right now. So I ordered it online, put it on my card. At the end of the transaction, it says like, would you like it delivered or in-store pickup? And I just checkboxed in-store pickup, set a time for it, and I was just like, there we go, I got it. And I was like, it was very, very easy, actually. Like, I just have to, with that type of stuff, you just got to be able to check pretty much every day, I guess, because, the stores are going to get like new shipments, new inventory of phones every so often. So you just got to be on top of your game when you're checking what's available for you to go pick it up. So I was excited nonetheless. It was last Friday when I checked, and I was able to get it that day. And like I said, I had wanted to get the Apple Store experience on them setting up my phone, because the last phone I got before my new 17 Pro Max, which I will get to, was my 14 Pro Max. It was replacing my iPhone XS at that time. And when I had gotten it, it was a very simple process to set it up and everything. And I ended up doing a trade-in value on that time as well. But it was a very simple process. Didn't take very long. I would just, I was wanting to see like if the Apple Store experience would be a much smoother process, because my family had gone through and doing their phones at the Apple Store, and they said it was pretty nice, and they just kind of do everything for you. I gotta say, I had never been tossed around by that many employees setting up my phone in my life. I was tossed around between like 3 Apple Store employees in the process of setting up, backing up, transferring over, and setting up my phone. I've never had that experience before. And not to say it was bad, right? I mean, all these people had, many other people to take care of that day. And I just happened to be one of the people that they had, many people just attend to my needs for my phone, which, I mean, they were all very nice. and they were all very cool people. It's just like, I was just like being like, all right, he's going to take care of you. Now she is. Now he's going to relieve her. It's like, oh, shoot. But the process went by pretty smoothly, more than I thought. Even though there were some hiccups in the road, right? I should have backed up my phone prior to that. But I'll be honest with you. Who backs up their phone anymore? I mean, I remember back when like iPhones were very new, iPods were a thing. Like, you would back those up like pretty frequently. Like, that was a necessary thing that you would do frequently, like maybe month to month, I guess, back in the day. Now an iPhone backup is like something that you rarely do. At least I rarely do. Like, I don't even know like what is the benefit of an iPhone backup. Like, honestly, I think what we should do with my new iPhone 17 Pro Max is ask Siri what is so good about iPhone backup. Hey Siri. Hey Siri, why is an iPhone backup important? Let's see. So I'm gonna go to this. Well, it's not really showing me any. I don't think I actually set up Siri yet, so that's why they're not responding to me. Let me see. I'm looking it up right now, and what it is, because I'm actually not very familiar with the backup. I don't think a lot of people are because it's so rarely done. So this is what it says on the Apple support apple.com. iCloud backup helps keep your data safe by making a copy of the information on your iPhone, iPad, and Apple Vision Pro that isn't already synced to iCloud. Let's see. What iCloud backup includes your iPhone, iPad, and Apple Vision Pro. Backups include all information and settings stored on your device that doesn't already sync to iCloud. Let's see, what does Google say about this? So this is an AI overview on Google. The benefits of an iCloud backup include automatic wireless protection for your data and the ability to easily restore it on a new or existing device. It provides off-site storage protecting your data from local disasters like a phone being lost or damaged, and ensures settings, app data, and photos are kept up to date with minimal use effort. So these are the key benefits. Automatic and seamless backup. iCloud backs up your data automatically when connecting to Wi-Fi, power, and locked. So you don't have to remember to manually back up. Easy device restoration. If your device is lost, stolen, or damaged, you can quickly restore all your settings, app data, photos, and more to a new device, getting you back to where you were faster. Off-site storage for disaster protection. Unlike local backups that are vulnerable to the same physical damage as your device, iCloud stores your data in the cloud, protecting it if your phone is lost, dropped, or otherwise destroyed. Syncs across devices. iCloud backup copies information that isn't already synced to your iCloud, and can also enable iCloud to sync specific data like photos, contacts, and calendars across all your Apple devices. Last bullet point here: comprehensive data protection. iCloud backup includes settings, home screen layout, app data, iMessage, text messages, photos, videos, and purchased ringtones. So it seems to me, and this is actually a very good thing, but not really something that you would do very commonly, or even that often, I would say, is if you are about to get a new device. This is the gist I got from it. If you're about to get a new device, or your device is like in danger of being stolen or destroyed. So like maybe maybe like if you're like a regular Joe like me, like if I'm gonna take a trip somewhere, right? And this is a big trip. What if I'm gonna go somewhere like out of the country and, I am viewed as a tourist? What if I get robbed, right? What if my phone gets robbed? Then I think backing up your phone before your trip would be a very smart move, right? That'd be a very smart thing to do in case wherever you go, right, you're viewed as a tourist and they're like, oh, tourist, let me pickpocket this guy's phone, and zoop, your phone is gone, stolen, lost forever, right? That would be the one of the best reasons to back up an iPhone. Besides that, I don't really see how, like, what you would need to do or why you would need to back up an iPhone that much or that frequently, right? So, I mean, it's a good idea. The only thing that kind of sucks about it is you got to pay for that. Apple automatically gives you, and I know this because I just got a new phone. Apple automatically gives you 5 GB of iCloud storage. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but the phones that we are getting now, at least the base phones, are all like at 256 GB. That is for applications, photos, contacts, text messages, music, all that stuff, right? And I don't have a whole lot of stuff like that on my phone. I'll be honest. I think the most thing that I have right now, like if I go to my settings, go to general, and go to iPhone storage, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a little bit more pictures on my phone than I would like to. I have over 1,000 on my phone. Normally, I don't have that much photos, but I have a lot. Some from when I got my first. I have some photos from when I had gotten my 14 Pro Max years ago. So I gotta like move those over to my hard drive. Right now I have 69. I'm using 69.34 gigabytes out of 256. I'm a little embarrassed about that right now, right? My text messages is costing me 9.37 gigs. My photos is costing me 7.16 gigabytes. Music is 1.96. For some reason, Instagram is 1.78. And then after that, it's YouTube at 904.7 megabytes. So clearly, text messages and photos are really killing my space. Now I have a ton of space remaining, right? I have over 150 gigabytes remaining, but still I don't have enough space at all to back up the entire phone. I just don't. So I would have to actually pay, and I've seen this promoted to me everywhere I go where it comes to Apple, right? You open Apple Music, you open Apple TV Plus, you open Apple the App Store, iTunes. It always, at least for me, always gives me an ad for Apple One, which is like a combination of all those subscription services plus extended iCloud storage, extension. So like you can't just back up to a cloud for free. You need to pay for at least more storage to back up your stuff to the cloud, right? Which kind of sucks. But also it's like, where does that even go? Where does that data transport it to? I get it that it's a cloud. I get that this is not a new technology. iCloud has been around for a while. But I would like to know, where exactly, how does that even work? I never really understood that. When it was debuted, when it was first, explained, I kind of understood it, but not a whole lot. I wish I knew more about it, but I don't. Right? It's hard for me to grasp that concept of your stuff is not on your phone. It is in the sky, in a cloud. But where does it go? There's gotta be servers that are carrying it, and it's you send it somewhere secured with it, with air quotes, it's quote unquote secured, right? But at the same time, it's I don't know about that. I really don't know. That's why I like to just if I want my pictures, right? My pictures that are on my phone that I've taken since 2022, 2021, whenever I got my 14 Pro Max, right? Since, from then to now, I got some pictures on there that I would like to keep, right? And luckily, God bless, when I went to the Apple Store, I was able to back it up through the iCloud backup from there, and then transferred from phone to phone via wire, right? So everything's there. I went through it. As soon as my phone actually booted up and everything, they say go to your contacts, go to your pictures, make a call. Is everything looking good? I actually went through all that stuff. All the pictures were there. It's quite tremendous. And I was just like, this is really cool. And I got my picture from day one since I got this phone. And I know that because when I did get my 14 Pro Max, I took a goodbye photo of my old iPhone XS. So everything was there. It was tremendous. It was great. It was awesome. So, I'm a huge advocate of physical everything. Physical media, physical entertainment, and I enjoy and I like to just port all my photos that are on my phone to a hard drive, like a physical hard drive, and I just keep them on there. It might not be the safest way because hard drives are known to break, burn out, get damaged, be unresponsive. I understand that, but I just find it more secure for me to have them on there than keep them in a cloud, somewhere, right? But anyways, that was all completed, right? That was all done. And it took a good while, at least an hour and a half, but I was able to sit down in the store. They walked through me with everything. They booted it all back up. They set everything up, and then it was time for me to say goodbye to my old phone, which at the end of the day, once you're setting up one phone, getting everything off one phone to another, pretty much gives you the last option. We're about to erase your phone, the old phone. Are you okay with that? You hit yes. Boom. It wipes it clean. Everything is gone. Everything is toast, destroyed, reduced to atoms, back to the factory mode, and then you send it away. And after that, I'm like, you know what? I need a case, and I need a screen protector. And I'm like, I'm really bad at putting on screen protectors. I'm tremendously bad at that. Last phone I had, my 14 Pro Max, I went through three attempts at putting on a screen protector. 3 attempts. Every single time it was either an air bubble, it was a little off center, or I had dust particles in there. It was very, 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 very annoying. Tedious, right? Listen, I'm not saying I live in a filthy household. It's not filthy. It's very clean. But dust exists, right? I don't have an area where I could just put on a screen protector where there's not going to be a few microscopic particles of dust floating around that is going to get on my phone, right? I had that issue last time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go the extra mile, pay the extra few bucks, and I'm going to have you guys do it. So when I got there, I'm like, hey, thanks for the phone. Thanks for everything. Can I get a case? I need to purchase a case, and can you guys put on a screen protector? They're like, yeah, for sure. I got you. I was like, awesome, fantastic. So I picked out a case. I went with this Beats case, which I didn't know Beats made cases until now. It was on their wall of cases at the Apple store. I'm like, boom, I guess I'll get this one. They didn't have a whole wide selection of cases. They had a lot of Beats cases, Apple cases, and MagSafe cases, which have that little symbol on the back of the case, which I prefer my case to not have that. I'll be honest. I'm not a huge MagSafe guy. I don't have MagSafe. I'm just USB-C wire. I'm that kind of simple guy. That to me is perfect to me. I don't necessarily need a wireless MagSafe case, but to each his own. So I'm like, I'll just get this one. This Beats case does have MagSafe on it, but it doesn't have the MagSafe logo on the back. So I'm like, you know what? It's a clean, crisper case. I'll go with this one. It's a snapping case. It's very very thin. Very It's a nice simple design. It's got the big back camera cutout. It's a little slick though. I will say that it's kind of slick. There's a few times where I've almost lost the grip on it because it's very, very slick. As soon as I put it on my phone, I'm like, oh boy, this might be an issue. This might be a little bit of a problem. But I think over time, as like the slickness kind of wears off, I think it'll be much more easier to grasp, which I'm kind of noticing that right now. So that's good. But yeah, I like the case. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's sleek, nice, simple design, not too bad. The screen protector, when they put it on, man, they got this entire like clamping contraption that they got, where they they make sure your phone is wiped down quite a bit. The gentleman that was helping me make sure that it was nice and wiped down, clean. He had this microfiber cloth. He had this sticker that was like picking up any dust on it, and he had the screen protector, and how it went on was just so like surgical. Like he put it in this like little receptor thing, and the phone was underneath it. He clamped it down, pulled the screen protector from the clamp, and then he let it sit there for like a good minute and a half or whatever. Let that happen, and then after like a minute and a half, he released it, and then just like really like smoothed out all the bubbles, like kind of like polished it up for me, and then he gave it to me. I'm like, dude, that was sick. I mean, that was like professionally done. Well done, sir. And then I could tell you this, man, I have been looking at this case in like the whitest like background that I could get, and I couldn't see a single air bubble, couldn't see a single dust particle, and I'm like, dude, this is why they pay you the big bucks. This is why you get paid at Apple to do this, man. Fantastic job. I couldn't believe it. Of course, that all wasn't free, right? I had to pay for the screen protector. I had to pay for the case, the phone itself, to get it started. I did have a trade-in value. So my iPhone 14 Pro Max was in very excellent condition. One little scuff on the side corner, on the corner of the phone. That was about it. But, one little scuff on there, screen was in tip-top shape. I had a screen protector on my phone since day one, and I ended up taking it off before I put my phone away, sent my phone away, because I just wanted to feel how the screen was, as it is when it comes out of the case, but it was awesome. It was really, really a good experience, I must say. It takes a little while. I would truly recommend doing a full iCloud backup before you go and get your phone. I was trying to do it midway driving there, but I only got about halfway done, and I had to wipe it clean before I actually I had to restart the backup essentially. And that's what took the bulk of the time. Why it took like an hour and a half, because I just had to back it up. And then if I had backed it up before, it would have been much better. And then after that, they sent me on my way with my new phone. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it. It is a thicker phone. I had come from a 14 Pro Max, and now I'm at a 17 Pro Max. And I can tell you this, these phones are bigger phones. Now, if you are somebody who had come from the line of 13, 14, 15, and 16, you guys all had like, including myself back then, had a similar thickness to the phone. This one is a tad bit thicker all around, and especially that camera bump on the top that takes up an entire quarter of the phone. It is a thicker phone. It is a thicker phone. It is a lighter phone because it is made out of aluminum, which I think that we could all say is a cheaper metal. So a little bit of a demonstration. I'm going to try to talk my way through this as best as I possibly can, because obviously I don't have a video component with this podcast. But I have my phone right now in my hand, and it's caseless right now. And I could already tell just by when I compared it with my other phone back when I got it that it was a thicker phone overall, right? Like I said, it is lighter, right? The metal itself, the material that it's made of, is a unibody metal, and it is much, much, much lighter in your hand. You will notice that if you decide to pick up this phone or any of the other phones in the new recent lineup, that they are all made out of aluminum, which is going to be a thinner or a lighter metal. So you will notice that. Like I said, if you get the Pro Max version, which I think is the probably the better, the best bang for your buck, I would say. A lot of people are saying the 17 is a good one as well, but I also think that if you're a pro guy, right, if you want the pro phone, you want the best of the best of the best, Pro Max, I would go with that one, right, because you're just going to get the better phone, the best performing phone out there in terms of iPhone performance across the board, right? So without the case, it's a very nice design. It's like it harkens back to like the 6, 7, and 8 lineup of phones. Those are made out of aluminum, and then they had changed the design going from the 10 onward, and now they're kind of back to this aluminum um, design, which, to each his own, right? I would have preferred it if it stayed like titanium. I know I've been an advocate and a fan of the stainless steel design on the 14 Pro Max. When they went to titanium, I was like, not as shiny, not as clean, not as crisp, not a huge fan of that. But now that I have this in my hand, I'm like, you know what? As long as the insides are pretty good, I'm okay with this. And I got to tell you this right now. The battery on this bad boy is really, really, really good. I'm not lying to you. The battery on this phone is tremendous. I mean, really well done with the battery. I can tell that they really took the time into creating this phone and at least the Pro Max version, and to making it like stand out when it comes to the battery life and performance of this. Because I had done some research. Apparently this huge camera bump has a lot of the optics in there, like a lot of the parts that make this phone work, and a lot of the bottom portion of it is dedicated to battery. And I've noticed that the battery actually is true. It lasts long. I had clocked it. I usually wake up like around when I got to go early in for work at 4:30 a.m. That's when my phone comes off the charger, and I use it not a whole lot, but pretty frequently. On a busy day, I'll be using my phone quite a bit. A lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of pictures. And I notice that when I'm usually, a day's work, right? And then I go to the gym after work. When I'm at the gym, like around 5 p.m., like I'll check my phone. I swear to you, I'm not lying to you. Over 12 hours of usage, I was at 81% battery. 81%. Also, including phone calls, texting, app usage, watching videos, watching football. And, it is a really good battery. I must say, I got to give them credit where credit is due. It's a really, really good battery. And that's stuff like minimal, like to like medium usage, right? If you're going to have like a high usage, it might be a little less. But still, after 12 hours at 81%, I was like, this is really good. Like, it's a really good battery life, I will say. I'm impressed. And I remember hearing the specs about that come out that, the milliamp hours or whatever the heck, however they record the battery life. But I was like, I don't understand that at all. But I'll give it a shot in real life. And I'm like, you know what? This is awesome. This rocks. Like, this is actually really good. I like this quite a bit. So yeah, I gotta say, this new phone so far, the way it handles things, the way it processes things is faster. Apps load really quick. Everything, works fine. Multitasking is good. The screen size is great. Texting on it is good. Phone calls are good. All that's cool. The wallpapers that are in it are awesome. The only thing I will say, and I just remember, it's not even like a personal gripe for me, but it's just a gripe for the overall lineup of the phone, is why could they not put in black, the color black? Honestly, like for real, I'm okay with, I like the silver color. Like I was going to probably get this either way, depending on if they had like their alternate color, like blue, if it blew me away, I'd have probably gotten that, but I like the silver that I have. My just one thing is like, how could you release a Pro phone like this on Apple and just not release a black, like a solid neutral black? How could you not do that? But other than that, like I'm really impressed with this phone. I will say, I enjoy it quite a bit. It's smooth, it's sleek, it operates well. Everything is like easy accessible. I enjoy the button on the side that is for to silence or put your phone on ring. I enjoy that. I didn't mind the switch back in the day, but this button is kind of nice. It's a nice little touch to it. I will say the button for the camera on the same side as the power or on the lock button, I have fumbled with that a few times, meaning I have picked up my phone And just because how my hand placement when I pick it up and when I have to grip it, I have accidentally activated camera mode a few times already. And I've accidentally done that while pulling it out of my pocket to answer a call. I've done that already a few times already. That is annoying. I will say that is a big that is a gripe that I have. That is something that has taken a little bit of time for me to adjust to. Just because I have to reposition my fingers, and when I grip it, like just a few times I've had to just kind of like use my brain a little more to make sure that I am not hitting camera when I'm trying to pull out my phone out of my pocket, trying to answer a call. So I've noticed that a few times, or even like not even answering a call, just activating camera mode. I will say though, taking pictures with that button, that physical button, is nice. It's a nice touch. I actually like that quite a bit. I don't know why I like it so much, but it just kind of reminds me of like back in the day taking a picture on a camera, right? I don't mind the actual, the gesture of it. I don't mind that. It's just like the fumbling of it, like when you accidentally grip it on that, you can activate the camera. But there is an option though to just turn it off completely or kind of firmen up the button so it doesn't activate as easily. Right? So right now I have it on the firmest setting, which is just default. There's a default, there's an easier setting, and then there's a firmer setting. Right now I have it on firmer, and it seems to be working out pretty fine. That took a little bit of time to get used to. I'm not gonna lie. I won't lie. That was kind of a shock for me because the phone that I had before, the 14 Pro Max, did not have that feature yet. Didn't have that, and it did not have the action button for the ring and silent mode either. So both new features for me. I think it was the 15 and the 16 the 15 that introduced both of those features. Maybe the 16 introduced the camera button, but I know that for a fact the 15 had the action ring silent button. So yeah, that was new for me. I kind of learned that the hard way, but you live and learn. You move on. But overall, very solid phone. I'm impressed on what the phone has been able to do, how smooth it's been, the battery life in particular. I really enjoy it so far. So obviously, I had a trade-in value for my 14 Pro Max. It knocked down $400, so that was pretty cool. I know this phone base model is still over $1,000 when you buy it, but I gotta say I am happy with the upgrade that I have. I will be honest with you. It's a nice one. Okay, so moving on from that, I know that kind of took up a lot of time, but it was something that I experienced, and I wanted to share with you guys on that, a real person's take on like the new upgrade and the phone and all that stuff. So moving on to some news on entertainment. It was, I don't know, honestly, like how I feel about this story that is, that came out a couple days ago. Honestly, it's a weird one, but I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it. So there was apparently going to be a movie coming out in the Star Wars universe centered around Adam Driver's character Kylo Ren / Ben Solo. And it was reportedly titled The Hunt for Ben Solo. And it was supposed to be a sequel to Rise of Skywalker, where they explore the character more. Like apparently he's missing and they're trying to find him. That was actually the plot of the movie. And apparently that Lucasfilm and Adam Driver, and I believe it was Steven Soderbergh that was going to direct the project, were all on board. But apparently the mouse, Disney, was not on board, and they had canned the project. Let me see. Okay, so I have some details on it right now. This is from X, by the way, like an overall, like, on X. This is from Variety. I'll go with Variety. Adam Driver reveals that he and Steven Soderbergh spent 2 years developing a Kylo Ren standalone movie, The Hunt for Ben Solo, but Disney rejected the project. Quote, "We presented the script to Lucasfilm. They loved the idea." Driver recalled, "They totally understood our angle and why we were doing it. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, and they said no, they didn't see how Ben Solo was alive, and that was that. So honestly, if you had seen the horrible film Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, you know this, but if you haven't, I'm about to spoil it right now. In that movie, Adam Driver's character, Kylo Ren / Ben Solo, dies. And the movie was supposed to be a sequel to The Rise of Skywalker where he dies. So, it seems like, Adam Driver was not really particularly happy what happened to the character that he was given in the sequel trilogy. It obviously sounds like he wanted to do more with that character. Who wouldn't? That character was probably the coolest character in the sequel trilogy by far. A lot of layers to that character, a lot of backstory, a lot of lineage, a lot of legacy in that character, that it just seems that it was just kind of thrown away and just written poorly, and nothing really explored except for the bare minimum. Very bare bones, a very surface layer developed character, in my opinion. You got the grandson of Darth Vader, and you barely even crack the potential and develop the character. No wonder he wanted to make another movie, right? It's obvious he wanted to make another movie surrounding, potentially exploring the lineage of the character of Ben Solo. Why would you not? And Disney said no, which honestly, I agree with that, because you killed him in your movie. Him coming back would retcon that movie. It would retcon everything that happened in that movie, which in a way, should that happen, that'd be kind of cool for that to happen, because that would retcon the entire trilogy. But you can't do that because you made that trilogy already. You already established that. You already made that part of the story. You made that canon. You did that. That's your fault. Now, obviously, would I have enjoyed that movie? In this universe, no, because it wouldn't make any sense. I'm actually kind of siding with Disney on this, because that just objectively does not make any sense on how that would actually exist, right? I'm sorry, Adam Driver, as much as you would want to make that movie, and as much as I would want to see that if I did not live in this universe that I currently live in, where your character died, that wouldn't make any sense. It would not work. It could not work. It will not work, and it should not work. So, heart to heart, I'm sorry, bro. Your dream, your project cannot exist. I'm sorry, that happens. Things just don't go the way that we want. Unfortunately, in this guy's, situation, he can't make the movie that he was interested in. I'm surprised that Lucasfilm actually was involved, said, yeah, this is cool, when clearly it makes no sense. How could he possibly be alive? He was yeeted at that movie. He died. Well, it's weird, because if you watch that movie, and I'm not saying that you should, right? It's not a good watch. It's not a good time. It's very boring, very bad, cringe. It just is. It's a joke. It's not a good movie whatsoever. A lot of people like to say Last Jedi is the worst, but I think that this one might be actually the worst one in the trilogy. The way he dies is he gives away his life force to save Rey from dying, and there's no body. He lays there dead, and then his body disappears. I don't know why or how that happens, or why that it was even a thing. That just shows you how bad of the writing job they did for that movie, that his body just flat out disappears. There is no body. So you don't know what the heck happened to him. Now, I don't know if he would be physical in this Hunt for Ben Solo movie. I don't know if he would be physical, right? I'm thinking of it maybe as I'm talking to myself about this, I feel like we're perceiving he's going to be physical in the real world. Hey, just kidding. I just teleported. I'm back. But what if he's a Force ghost and someone is looking for him or trying to find him? And, and he's on some planet somewhere as a Force blue ghost, just kind of meditating and learning about his past, right? But then again, If you ever watch Star Wars, like there shouldn't be a hunt for a Force ghost Jedi, right? They should just be able to appear wherever they want. They're like transcending the time and space in reality. There should be like no like this Force ghost is on this planet and he's there. Like, but why though? Why is he just there? He's a ghost. He can disappear and reappear. Why can't he appear on Tatooine and then appear on Naboo after that? Right? I don't know. Sometimes I just don't understand how the way Star Wars mythology works, because I feel like it changes every so often just to fit the plot that they're trying to tell for their terrible story, you know? So there again, like no real details on this movie on what it would have, like the full concept of it. But I will say, being that Kylo Ren was the most interesting character in that entire sequel trilogy, that is an entire fail on the franchise, and an entire blemish and fail, and just a bad thing on that entire story in general. Like, sure, I mean, like it would have been kind of cool to see what they would do, kind of, but at the same time, it's like I don't want that. But I don't want that because of the universe that we live in. It wouldn't make any sense. It would be like uttering the line from Rise of Skywalker when they say somehow Palpatine returned. It would have been just like that. Like, okay, are we just gonna bring back everybody from the dead? Is no one dead? Like, is everyone like? I mean, what? I just, you know, I don't know. You know, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, what were they thinking? Were they really just that mad that was Adam Driver just that pissed off, right? Because they killed his character. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's no real like. I mean, it might have been. You know, I feel like he was done kind of dirty with that role. I mean, the way he went out like that. I mean, he just honestly, if I was, you know, in charge of that whole franchise, I would have just explored that guy's lineage a lot more. Honestly, what a cool character, right? The grandson of Anakin Skywalker, and you don't explore any of it. You don't explore, like, he doesn't know who his grandfather was, really. All he knew was that he was Darth Vader. No one told him that, hey, your son was actually Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One. You're the grandson of the Chosen One. Like, whoa. Like, that wasn't explored at all? Like, Disney, you didn't even think to, like, just to try to, like, to like connect any of the dots there and make it a grand story. Shame on you, man. Shame on you. That is not okay. That's like storytelling 101. It's like, how do you not like bring back some of the past to influence the future? Like, shame on you. Wow. I mean, I don't get it. Like the whole like turn of Kylo Ren, like from bad to good in The Rise of Skywalker, is the corniest thing ever. Corny. Very, very corny. Like, it would have been so much more impactful if it was also like not just, you know, Han Solo, but Anakin Skywalker as well. Like, let me be honest with you. I like Han Solo quite a bit. He is a cool character. He's really cool. But that's like where it breaks off. That's like, he's a cool character, but he doesn't have the presence or the legacy, the legend, the myth of Anakin Skywalker. He doesn't. So the fact that it's freaking Han Solo giving him that speech is, I mean, it's not as impactful. I'm sorry. I know he's his dad, but like, I mean, shoot, like, I mean, it doesn't seem like he was the greatest dad. You know, I mean, like, shoot, make it more meaningful, you know? I don't know. I mean, that's just me, though. I'm no Hollywood writer. I don't make movies. I probably should, but, yeah, I make something better than that trash, you know? Moving on. There's a new movie coming out that, you know, I don't think is generating any type of buzz whatsoever. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think that this movie is generating any type of buzz, and they keep making them. And I think that the buzz for this overall genre of movie is just falling down, right? and it's the musical artist biopic. There's a new one coming out about Bruce Springsteen, who I like. I like his music. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I actually quite like a lot of his songs, right? The guy seems to be like a really energetic guy, right? He seems like to be a pretty cool guy. I've never like met him. I've never seen interviews of him, but his music is pretty cool. I enjoy it quite a bit. Born in the USA is sick. Born to Run is cool. Badlands is awesome. You know, those are all hits, but like those are, hey, that's part of his catalog of music. I like his music, right? But there's this movie coming out about Bruce Springsteen, the biopic, and the guy who's playing it is the guy from The Bear. I think his name is Jeremy Allen White. And these movies, to me, now, don't really seem to generate the same type of buzz as they had used to about 3 or 4 years ago when it had peaked. I believe it peaked with Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, it had elevated from when it began with like Straight Outta Compton, and then it got more popular, and then it got to Bohemian Rhapsody, and then after that, I think the buzz and the popularity of those movies just kind of dipped because they are all like the same structured movie in a way. And it got really repetitive to see that, you know, the origin, the rise, the struggles, the fall, the comeback, right? I think to me, that's like that formula and how they have made these movies is like so done every single time like that, that it's just now become like, oh, they're making that again, or they're doing this, or are they really making that? Or, oh, they're just still making these, huh? That's the vibe I get from this. Because they just don't really at least generate the type of buzz that I think that they would. Or I think the profit that they would like, that they would like. What was that movie with Timothy Chalamet? It was a Bob Dylan movie, and he played Bob Dylan in this movie. And a complete unknown, right? Like, first of all, I'll be honest with you. Like, if you're just a regular dude, right? How are you going to know that this movie's about Bob Dylan just by the title? You're not. Like, there's no way you're going to know that that's a movie about Bob Dylan. Let me see. Let me look it up real quick on, what is it called? Box Office Mojo. Because I'm interested, the profit of this movie, because I'm sure it was a movie that demanded a lot of attention because of who was involved and who was involved in like what it's about, right? So this movie, a complete unknown, according to IMDb, and first of all, the rating was a 7.3 out of 10 by users and a 70 Metascore. So it's a pretty okay movie, right? Obviously, not the score I think that the creators had wanted, right? But nonetheless, it was received pretty well. I'm looking at the IMDb page looking for budget. Let's see, budget. 70 million, estimated 70 million, and gross total worldwide 140 million. So I guess it did pretty well. You know, it did well. Bob Dylan is a well-known artist, though, around the world. And for this movie to only generate $140 million does not really seem like a solid performance at a box office, if I'm being honest. So I don't know. Like, it just doesn't seem like these movies are very popular with the movie-going audiences. And I see this movie that's coming out about Springsteen, and I'm like, this all looks the same. This looks like the Bob Dylan movie. This looks like the Rocket Man movie. This looks like this looks like Bohemian Rhapsody in a way. This looks like it all looks too familiar, too similar. And maybe it's just because of the way that they're telling the story. Um, I don't know. I just maybe they need like a better formula. Um, I'm looking up right now the most recent music biopics that we've had in in the past like few years. Let me see. Um, we've had a. Let me just give me like a list, man. What are we doing? Just give me a list. How come? Let me see. So we've had. Oh man, there's more coming out. Shoot. This is by where you can find them, but I'm just gonna kind of go off the top of my head because I can't really find a list that's like chronological of when they came out. So recently, we're just about to get the Bruce Springsteen movie, but we've also had a movie about Bob Dylan, as I've said. We've had a movie about Elvis. That was one. We've had a movie about let me see. Elvis, Bohemian Rhapsody, which is about Queen if you don't know. We had one about Whitney Houston. We had one about Elton John. We had one about, I want to say Tupac already. And we've had one about that I've seen, but I haven't seen, but I I've seen commercials. Not Bob Marley. And then we've had one, let's see, recent. Why are these lists so poor? It looks like this one is about Aretha Franklin called Respect, that came out in 2021. I barely remembered that actually. Oh, starring Jennifer Hudson. That's really cool. And there's got to be another one that was recently. Where are we looking for? What am I looking for? Like within like the past like 5 years. Was there one done about well, I think there's one in production. Oh, Weird, the Al Yankovic story, starring Daniel Radcliffe. Like I said, like if it's done well, they're good they're like well received in watchable movies. It's just like there's nothing really to them. It's all the same. The origin, the rise, the fall, the return. It's a good story. I will say that. It's just like I feel like they're just so like they just come out and you're like, oh, they made another one. They made another one and another one and another one. They must be getting some like better profit than most people expect, which is cool. But I feel like they're just becoming like routine and part of the machine, just like manufactured. It's like, oh, another one. Like, and I've seen that there's gonna be a Michael Jackson one coming out like within the next year. I think it's like, whoa, okay, guys. I think at that point, like we've kind of peaked. You did one about Queen, Bob Marley, Elton John, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson. I think we can cut it off now. Like I think that might be it. Whitney Houston. I think it's time we call it quits, on these music artist biopic, in my opinion. I just think like, okay, might have had enough now. We can probably halt the brakes on this. Like, I think we've already explored it quite a bit, right? The formula must be rethought, in my opinion. Okay, moving on. Last thing I'll talk about is some sports. Let's see. World Series is set between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. United States of America versus Canada. It is set. Listen, I am a Dodgers fan, full on, through and through, right? I'm very critical of my team. You guys know this. I watch them very closely on how they perform, how they play, how they pitch, bat, all that stuff, right? I pay very close attention to my team, and I'm very critical of my team, right? Every year in the postseason, when we get there, when eventually we do get there, I become this very, very critical hawk where I'm watching them every move. I told you guys, I went to the NLDS Game 3 in Los Angeles a few weeks ago where we lost to the Phillies. I was very unhappy. That was a very, very bad game, in a game that I was like, we could have played a lot better that game. I don't know what happened. We just kind of let it get away. We didn't care about it at the end, and that was it, right? Since then, we haven't lost a game. We had swept the Brewers in the NLCS. They were no competition whatsoever. After being swept by them completely in the regular season, we came back and swept them in the NLCS. And this is in this series, right? We had the incredible Game 4 in Los Angeles where Shohei Ohtani just became essentially the modern day Babe Ruth within one game. 3 home runs, 10 strikeouts, starting pitching, and just coming alive and having like the best performance a baseball player could ever have in the postseason in a game that had very little stakes, I'll be honest, right? Being a Game 4 sweep, but still coming out on top and having very little trouble in that game, and showing out when it mattered the most, and actually that single game winning the NLCS MVP. It's hard to do that in one game. Before that, he was very bad, poor hitting, could barely hit a thing, but battled back. 3 home runs, 10 strikeouts, deservedly earned, right? And now we face a Blue Jays team that has been at the top of the league, top of the American League for a long time. Just went 7 games against the Seattle Mariners, who are also very good, right? Both teams are very, very good. Seattle and Toronto ended up going down to the wire, Toronto winning in Game 7. But I will be honest with you. I watched those games too, the ALCS games, and I will say that both those teams did not look very good in that series, and even in the series prior, not very good. So, how do I feel about going into the World Series? How do I feel, right? Am I feeling good, bad? I don't want to get too excited, but I'm looking at this right now, and I'm seeing that this could be the easiest repeat to a World Series championship that has ever been put on a platter as I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Like, in the beginning of maybe after Game 2 of the series against the Brewers, I was looking at the Brewers and I was looking at who we could potentially face afterwards, being Seattle or Toronto. And I thought to myself, and I said to my family and my people, my friends that are Dodgers fans, coworkers that are Dodgers fans, I was saying to them, guys, this looks too easy for us. This looks too good, too surefire to be true that this is our path. If this is our path indeed, there is no excuse. We should be champions. I'm not going to say we will be, but we should, on paper, be the World Series champions after this World Series matchup right here. We should be. I mean, I do not see how Toronto could beat us in this World Series. I don't. The way they struggled against Seattle, how Seattle wasn't that good, and just viewing our team and who we have, who's going to be pitching, who we have hitting, who's hot right now in hitting, who's come alive in Shohei, I truly do not see a way where we lose this World Series. I truly do not see a way. I will be very, 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 very disappointed, very sad, and very angry if we did. But right now, I truly don't see a way how we could lose this World Series. I do not see a way. I can't. Except for mismanagement by Dave Roberts, potentially. That could be the reason. But I have such high hopes going into this World Series on Friday that I will be a back-to-back champion. That I will be. I don't see a way where we lose this. I do not see a way. Now, I'm not going to say we are going to win. I'm not saying that because I don't want to jinx anything. I'm not a very superstitious guy, but I don't want to jinx anything, right? But I'm looking at this. I'm like, this could honestly be the easiest back-to-back World Series title that anyone could achieve is right in front of us, right here, right now. And I was saying it in the NLDS, in the NLCS, I was saying this. Like, this path is way too easy. This is way too easy. This is way too good to be true. But this might be the year where we have to capitalize on this what is it called? Gosh, I'm blanking. This opportunity that we have right now. This is a golden opportunity for us. We have to capitalize. We must capitalize on this. If we don't, my disappointment would be immeasurable, and my anger would be through the roof, and my sadness will be at an all-time high, which I don't want it to be. But every time I look at the matchup, right? Who we have pitching? Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani, Yamamoto. We got Roki in the back, Banda, Trinan. Who's hitting well right now? Shohei. We have Mookie, Muncy, Kike. Teo when he comes in clutch. Like, this is way too good to be true, and it could very well happen. So, I got high hopes. I'm extremely excited. I cannot wait. I just hope we don't blow this golden opportunity, because it is truly the way that they were celebrating the NLCS championship is exactly how I would like my team to celebrate that. Not too crazy, knowing that the job isn't done. I love how Dave Roberts was like, we got 4 more wins. You must keep that energy. The job is not done. It's not completed. He even quoted Kobe Bryant. The job is not finished. You must keep that mentality. I hate when teams celebrate the CS or the division or the conference championship that much, because it's like, boys, we're not done yet. Now we got to lock in. Now the World Series crown is right there. Now we got to take it. And I hope that's what they do. I really do, because this, like I said, this is a golden opportunity here. I don't give a damn about Toronto. I don't even fear Toronto. This is your king? This is who you say is good all year? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I seen Toronto. They don't impress me at all. Not one bit. All right, that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.